Hi, Big West. It's Kerri here. Welcome to our live event. Today, I'll be talking to you a little bit about how to manage uncertainty. Um, but before we kind of get started, we'll just take just a little bit, just to kind of get some people maybe on board. I know my mom probably wants to watch this. um, So that being said, if you're here, shoot me like a little heart, or um, even where are you watching from? Are you in Big West? If you're in Big West, let me know. What street are you watching from? I usually would have been watching from Rainer Avenue, but I found out yesterday that my camera did not want me to do that. So I'm here at the community center, at Big West Community Center here in Victoria. And I have the opportunity to share with you about, is that me? Oh no, that is me. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. Um, Reminder to presentation presenters to turn off your cell phones. All right, there we go. If that's my only mistake that's going to happen today, we got that out of the way and done with. Great. So hi everyone again. So let me tell you what we're going to be doing here today. I'm coming to you here as a registered nurse. I've worked as a nurse for 15 years. I've worked for just part-time at Island Health. But in addition to that too, I also have a small private practice, similar to what a social worker or counselor will have, but however, I'm able to help people see their problems through the lens of a nurse. And so I'm coming to you today to share with you a little bit about mental health, a little bit about kind of that tip of the iceberg of what CBT is. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but maybe not exactly know what it is. Or maybe some of you actually have a lot of experience with it. It's actually one of the leading therapies to help treat anxiety and depression. It's a fabulous tool of skills to help people really manage any forms of uncertainty in their lives or any forms of stress that comes our way, which I imagine none of you have, right? Yeah, no, we're all in this pandemic together. I heard this from somewhere. It's not mine, but someone said it's not that we're all in the same boat, but we're actually all in different boats, trying to weather the same storm. And I really align with that because I think many of us, some of us may have lost our jobs. Some of us actually have to go to our jobs, which cause a lot of stress. Um, some of us are dealing with the loss of routine. Some of us are dealing with the loss um, of even trying to keep our kids engaged, trying to deal with a new routine, and even some of you have really lost the lives of loved ones, and trying to figure out how to deal with that and how to move through that um, in this time where a lot of things have been restricted is quite tough. So I just want to honor that. I want to acknowledge it, um, but I want to help you. I want to bring some hope, some resiliency, maybe to this situation. And because I'm a nurse, practical tips. Nurses, we go into the depth of a problem, but we're also there to be creative in how to solve it. That's what I really see my nursing team has been in the past, in my entire career. So today, um, let me just throw in a small disclaimer, is that I am, you know, presenting some information that can be helpful to you. However, this will not replace the advice of a doctor. And also to acknowledge that even though I am employed with Island Health, um, I'm actually acting independently of them, and I will post actually the resources that I've used, and as well I will feature them at the very, very end of this talk. So let's talk about this. We're going to give you a little taste of what CBT is and how to deal with uncertainty. We're going to give you a bit more of a practical guide in how to cope with, kind of boost your ability to cope, and how to even get started. As we maybe some of us may have this overwhelming problem that we just don't even know where to start. In addition to that too, I will have actually a little gift at the end. It'll be just a really nice, relaxing gift from me to you to make you have a better day than maybe what you're currently having. And then in addition to that too, I hope that you can kind of continue to just post small little like emojis. I love emojis, they're the best. Or even like highs, or even any questions that you may have. What we can do is I have the wonderful Julie, our volunteer coordinator, who's going to be able to help me respond to those when they come up. So please feel free to use that option. But in addition to that too, if you're just watching this off of the live stream, if you add more of your comments into there, it actually might spur on other people watching after you what more questions and more things to think about. And with that, let's get started. Okay, so what I want to talk to you is about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Really, what is it? Well, it's where we start with understanding awareness. Awareness is in some ways is that first step where we can actually start to realize how much we can cope with the stresses that we have. And when we understand where our awareness is in ourselves, then we can start to see what we need to be able to make motion in those next number of steps. So cognitive behavioral therapy has 4 components to it. It has your thoughts and how your thoughts and your feelings will affect your behaviors. Now, oftentimes our behaviors are what we see in how we react to a situation. But in addition to that too, CBT also considers that how this is affecting our body, how it affects our blood pressure, how it affects those butterflies in our stomach, or how that affects even like how tense our muscles are getting if our anxiety is starting to increase, or even just that tingly feeling that we get in the back of our neck when we think, something's a little bit off. And what's interesting about this is that when we start to pull apart the way that we react to a situation, so sometimes we'll call that a stressful situation, we might call it an event. Sometimes the medical people, they call it triggers. And then we start to understand like, oh, this happens in a split second. As soon as a trigger happens or an event, boom, I'm off to the races. I have a feeling that I feel, and boom, it hits me where I think. Now I'm thinking this situation is like, not going so well, and that's going to affect actually how I'm going to respond and how I'm going to show up to this situation. So I'm only giving you just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more about CBT, but the reason why I give this small little piece of key information to you is this is how you can even just start that process of becoming aware of your own reactions and your own the ways that you respond to a situation. And as we do the work of becoming aware, it's quite easy for us, especially in our societies, to get quite judgy, and we are probably sometimes the worst judgments towards ourselves. But I want to ask you just to suspend that just for a few minutes and just wait, because if you allow curiosity, just the word curiosity invokes a bit of gentleness and a bit of kindness, and just to be able to notice might actually help you start to come and kind of bring out some of those big rocks or those nuggets of gold of starting to realize what's going on inside of you. Now, one thing that I'll just share with you, which is again quite practical, is an app. It's called MindShift. MindShift app actually is a great place to start, where you can easily, like right on your phone, you could just swipe. You can start to put in like how you feel and kind of what was going on for you in the way that you feel, and how you're recording that. And as you start to record some of this information, you actually are starting to find some trends. And you're going to really start to create this awareness of who you are and what you need, and some of those things that are going to be helpful for you to start to be able to manage and cope with uncertainty. So here we go. We're in a season of uncertainty. We're in a season of stress. It's not easy. And I think in some ways, if we can all just say that to ourselves, saying, it's okay that this is going to be hard, it actually might allow us to go beyond that overwhelming part. Now, Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist, also I think he was a neurologist as well, but he was also a Holocaust survivor. And he states that there's a space in between that stimulus and then our response. And what is really beautiful about that is that space in between that is actually our ability to choose, our power to choose. And this is where I would say resiliency lies. This is where resiliency can start to grow. And this is where we can take back some of our control over the uncertainty of what's going on. So I just want to check in. Are there any questions out there so far? How are people doing? Because oftentimes I do this type of work and I actually have 12 to 30 people in the room, and I'm able to see eyeballs and actually, call on people if they have any comments. So please, if you're sitting here, shoot me a comment. I saw a couple of little thumbs up. Thank you very much. I love that. But let's move on. Let's see. It's always a bit challenging when you go off your notes and come back. So so oftentimes anxiety, when our anxiety is quite high and we try to respond to that situation, oftentimes we know that we may say things or do things that we wouldn't really want to say or do. And that being said, when we start to understand how we can control our anxiety and maybe our own emotions, that actually might give us more ability to control and to even slow down that time before we respond. So I want to share with you a couple of even almost backing up